Universal Orlando is incredible. You really need to visit. They have this ticket add-on called the Express Pass, which essentially lets you skip to the front of the line anytime you want on almost every single attraction. No making return times and being glued to your app. You just show up when you're ready to ride that attraction, skip the long line, and enjoy the ride. It's amazing, but it comes with a significant cost. I recently teamed up with some friends to test it out and see if the Express Pass at Universal Orlando is worth the extra money. Today, we are talking about our experience, and the results of our test might surprise you. We're also talking about how you can make Express Pass easily fit into your budget if you decide to go that route. Let's get into the episode. Hi, I'm Melissa with Mixin' Some Magic. I'm a Disney planning expert, and I'm here to mix a little magic into your day. Each week I share Disney vacation planning tips, park strategies, and a little bit of Disney history sprinkled in. Of course, I like to include lots of Disney magic. Join me, let's mix in some magic. Welcome! Thanks for being here. Today's episode is huge, and I want to get right into it, but first I have a couple of things I want to mention. My birthday is in April, and I thought it would be fun to celebrate by begging for podcast reviews. Just kidding, but not really. I know what a big deal it is when someone leaves a review because they have taken time out of their busy day to reach out and help me out, and that's huge. I understand that. That's why I appreciate every single review so much. Reviews increase my podcast reach so that more people can find me. So if no one's leaving reviews on my podcast, then podcast platforms won't show it to many people when people are searching for podcasts to listen to. So in honor of my birthday, I'm doing a podcast review drive of sorts. I'll be talking about this the whole month of April and asking you to leave a review. Then I'll leave you alone and not bother you about it for a while, I promise. Anyone who leaves a review in the month of April will be entered into a drawing for a $50 Disney gift card, and I'm going to give away 2 or maybe even 3. So we're going to have 2 or 3 winners, and honestly, getting people to leave reviews is so hard. So if you do leave a review, your chances of winning are really, really high. I know that not every platform will allow a written review, which is too bad, but if the platform you're listening on does allow it, then I would love it and appreciate it. This month for Disney Book Club, we're reading Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. I love the Peter Pan movie and the ride at the Disney parks, and I've been obsessed with them since I was little. I actually have a Neverland-themed office, which you might be able to catch a glimpse of behind me if you're watching this on YouTube or a video podcast platform. But anyway, I love Peter Pan, but I've never read the entire book. So I picked that book for April Disney Book Club, and I am pretty excited. I'd love to have you join our Disney Book Club if you're looking for something fun, a way to meet new people, a way to read more. It's lots of fun. We meet one evening at the end of every month for about an hour via Zoom, and anyone who comes to book club in April is going to get a little gift from me in honor of my birthday. I can't tell you what it is. It's a surprise, but I'm excited. You can join Disney Book Club by joining my Patreon. So I have 3 levels, and all of them include Disney Book Club. Becoming a Patreon member is easy, and it includes a lot of other fun things, not just Disney Book Club. So I have 3 levels. The Pixie Pals level is $5 a month, and with that you get early access to podcast episodes, ad-free podcast episodes, bonus episodes, and bonus content, plus access to the Disney Book Club. My next level is called the Magic Makers level. That's $10 a month. You get early access to podcast episodes, ad-free episodes, bonus episodes and content, Disney Book Club, plus a welcome letter from me, magic mail from Disneyland, and entry into monthly giveaways. The last level is called the Terrific Treasures. That's $25 a month. These are my VIPs. They get all of the same things that Pixie Pals and Magic Makers get every single month, Plus, they get quarterly magic mail, things like t-shirts, pins, ears, things like that. A free planning call with me to help you plan your Disney vacation, up to 2 a year. And I also love you forever. So lots of benefits with that one. If you want to join and help support Mix and Some Magic, I would love to have you. I appreciate all of my Patreons so much. You guys are the best. And incidentally, quarterly magic mail is going out for my terrific treasures this month. And I am pretty excited about our April giveaway for Patreon members. So I'll be talking about that soon over on Patreon. Okay, enough of that. Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, my friend Ashley from Ashley Dixon Shenanigans will be joining me to talk about our Universal Orlando testing day. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Mix in Some Magic. Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to give a shout out to our amazing sponsor, Audible. I am now an Audible affiliate and I am so excited about it. I've been using Audible for years and I am really happy to have this chance to team up with a brand that I have loved and used for quite some time. If you love the magic of storytelling, but find it hard to make time for reading, Audible is your perfect solution. With Audible, you can listen to a huge selection of audiobooks, podcasts, and more, all from the convenience of your favorite device. Whether you're into thrilling mysteries, self-help, or epic fantasy, Audible has something for everyone because they have thousands of titles available. As an Audible member, you can choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog, including the latest bestsellers and new releases. But that's not all. Members also get full access to a growing selection of included audiobooks, Audible originals, and podcasts. You can download or stream included titles all you want. Most of our Disney Book Club selections are available on Audible, including this month's title. And here's the best part. I've teamed up with Audible to offer you an exclusive deal. By using my special link, you can get a free 30-day trial of Audible. That's right, 30 days of stories, knowledge, and entertainment absolutely free. If you love podcasts, and you must because you're here, I know you'll love Audible. Just visit www.audibletrial.com/mixinSomeMagic to start your free trial today. That's www.audibletrial.com/mixinSomeMagic. I'll also include a link for you in the show notes. It's a fantastic way to discover the joy of audiobooks and to support my podcast at the same time. Happy listening, and thanks to Audible for making today's episode possible. I'm here with Ashley from Ashley Dixon Shenanigans, and we're talking about Universal Orlando today. Thanks for being here.
I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
So a couple weeks ago, we did this big, huge Walt Disney World trip, and then we went for one day to Universal Studios Orlando, and we thought it would be so fun to do a strategy testing day. So tell them what we did.
So fun. So fun. I had a great time. They had, and it was fine. It's for science. This is what we do. So, Melissa and Chantel did Express Pass, which is an extra added on feature. If you're familiar with Disney, it's like Genie Plus. Only you don't have to do anything in the app, which I thought was
No,
neat.
and that was the best part about it. You could just show up to any ride except for Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure, I think that's what it's called, and get in the Express Pass line. One time per day, that was the ticket that I had. And Ashley had a different ticket.
I did not have Express Pass, so I got to wait in all of the standby lines. And then we tracked everything, like what was the posted wait time, what was the actual wait time, and so that we could pull our data together and see, is spending the extra money on something like Express Pass actually going to be worth it for you?
Because lots of people wonder, because Express Pass at Universal Orlando is much more expensive than it is at Disneyland or Disney World. So at Disneyland, you're probably going to pay around $30 a day, depending on the day. Disney World is about the same-ish, I think. But not at Universal.
It's a lot more.
A
It is
lot.
expensive.
Yes. So depending on the day, it's very dynamic, I guess is what they say with pricing. Depends on how crowded it is. The more crowded it is, the more you're going to pay for Express Pass. So Ashley looked it up.
Yeah, on like a down day, if you went on like a random Wednesday, late September, off season, quote unquote off season, it would be like $100 to $130 to add on the Express Pass. That's on top of the cost of your ticket. But if you're going like the weekend of Christmas break, it's going to be almost $300 more per
In
person
addition to your
on
ticket.
top of the cost of a ticket. So, yeah, depending on when you go, it makes a huge difference with that cost.
And depending on when you add it too, because if you add it with your ticket when purchasing it, it's going to be cheaper than if you decide a week before your trip, I want to add on Express Pass. They're going to charge you more. So I decided a week, 10-ish days before the trip to add on Express Pass, and I paid $236 in addition to my ticket. So it was a lot, but science, what are you going to do?
It's for science. It's what we do. It's our job.
So we had to test it out. And I have to say, it works so much easier and better than Genie Plus at Disneyland because it's so expensive. There's not very many people who do it. So you're able to get through the Express line much quicker than with the Genie Plus lines, where you're still probably going to wait. And not depending.
And just the fact of the convenience of I just show up to the ride whenever I want. I don't have to book a lightning lane return time and then like keep that in mind and book throughout the day and all the rules that come with Genie Plus. You don't have any of that. You just show up
No.
whenever you want.
And mentally, it was so much more relaxing and fun because you didn't think about that. You're like, let's go to this ride. You go to the ride, you show them your Express Pass, they scan it, and you get in the line. There are a couple different Express Pass options. The one I had, you could go to get in the Express Pass line one time per attraction, except for on Hagrid's. Or they have an unlimited Express Pass option where you can go in the Express line as many times as you want for those rides. I don't know how valuable that one would be because we did almost all the rides in both parks because Universal has 2 parks. There wouldn't have been time for us to do any of them twice.
Mm-mm.
But I guess if you have somebody that really wants to ride a certain ride over and over and over again, but I don't know how much value there is. But it's not that much more expensive to add the unlimited. I think it's around $30 or $40 when I looked. So it's not that much more, but still, I don't know if you could really, most people probably couldn't make it worth it.
Yeah. Well, and when you're going to Universal, we are assuming that most families or people who are looking into a Universal Orlando trip aren't people who go all the time. Like this is going to be something that you want to experience as many of the different rides and as you can. You're not going to necessarily, my family goes to Disneyland all the time. My kids know Disneyland back and forth. And if we show up for the day and they want to ride Matterhorn 20 times in a row, we do it. But if we were going to Universal Orlando and they'd never been before, they're going to want to do and see everything. So yeah, I think you would just stick with the regular basic Express Pass.
I think so. So there are 2 parks at Universal, kind of like very similar to Disneyland and California Adventure. They're very close, not as close as Disneyland and California Adventure. But I always tell people you really probably don't need a park hopper at Disneyland, but it's different at Universal Orlando because you want to go to both parks. And the only way to get between the parks, if you want to ride the Hogwarts Express, which you do, is to have a park hopper. So having a park hopper is totally worth it. And you need it, especially if you have Harry Potter fans.
Mm-hmm.
You can't miss the Hogwarts Express.
It's so fun.
Yeah. So you have to get a park hopper.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
There's no other way. You have to be able to hop back and forth. Hogwarts Express alone is worth it.
For sure. Yeah.
They knew what they were doing when they built that in.
Mhm.
They were like, oh yeah, we're going to make people get park hopper tickets. And they don't call them hoppers. They call them park to park.
Mm-hmm.
To park to park.
One other thing I wanted to mention is this is not a park for young kids.
No.
What is the age limit that you would like? The youngest you would take your kids to
Seven-ish,
That's the age
7
I
or
was.
8. I wouldn't take younger kids.
No, if they need to be in a stroller, then you don't want to bring your kid to Universal Orlando. There's just nothing for them to do, and it's gonna be no fun for anybody. So Disneyland different. Bring your kid. Disney World, bring your little kids, bring your babies, but not for Universal Orlando.
Yeah. And I feel like I didn't look at height requirements, but I feel like most of the rides have height requirements. Where at Disney, there's a huge group of rides that have no height requirements. You can take babies on, and
Yeah.
Universal's not like that at all.
Mm-mm. Okay, so we're gonna go through our day, and we have I just knocked the table.
We are like legit. Well, Melissa's legit. I just show up. She's the brains of this operation.
I don't know about that. If that's the truth, then we're in trouble.
You do great.
So we're just gonna go kind of through our day. So we started the day together since Hagrid's doesn't have Express Pass, and Hagrid's is usually shorter in the morning. Then we wanted to get to Hagrid's first. So we went to Hagrid's right off the bat. The park opened at 9 a.m., but we rope dropped it. The problem is with rope dropping at Universal is they have early entry. I don't know if that's what they call it, but for guests staying on property, they get to get in earlier. And a lot of people do stay on property. And so there were a lot of people while we were waiting to get in who were getting in and going right to Hagrid.
So even though we were like front of the rope at 9, we were already behind all of those on-site people who got in at 8.
So what are you going to do, though? That's how it works.
Well, and we knew that the day was going to be hot. And we were like, if we're going to have to wait in a long line for anything, it might as well be first thing in the morning while it's still cooler and avoid waiting out in the hot sun.
And Hagrid's is always long. It's always going to be probably around 120-ish minutes. That's just how it is because it's so good. So you can't miss it, though. So we opted to go first thing in the morning. So we rushed right there. And the posted wait time was 105 minutes. We ended up waiting 80 minutes. So long.
It is so long, especially for us when we are snobs about waiting in line and we don't wait in line for anything. Like 80 minutes felt like it was rough. The queue line was really cool, though. There was a lot of cool stuff to see as you walk through that long line, but still it was long.
And the tricky thing was we don't go to Universal all the time, so we didn't know like when the end was. But where we were in the queue, we're like, how far?
Chantel, did you hear her be like, I think this is the last room. Oh, no, we were only like halfway.
Yeah. No. So we didn't quite know how much. So we didn't have, it's harder with those expectations because every second we're like, this has to be the end.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Now, looking back, we probably should have done single rider for that one.
Yeah.
But we did not. I sat next to a girl who was in the single rider line, and she told me that she waited 20 minutes. So we waited 80 and she waited 20.
That would have been awesome to only wait 20 first thing in the morning. Like, I feel like that would give us such good energy to like burst forward to whatever the next ride was. But 80 it felt long.
It felt long.
But for Hagrid, there's no other, single rider is great, but
it was worth it.
Yeah, we did it.
But if I were to do it again, I'd be like, we are single ridering. Ridering? Hagrid's.
It's absolutely a word. Single ridering.
Yep. That sounds good. So after that, then we split up. Chantel and I went on our Express Pass journey. And Ashley went on her standby line. I think it's called an adventure.
It really is. It really was an adventure. It was a day.
Yeah. And so we started off with Forbidden Journey. The posted wait time, we got in line for that at 10:40 in the morning. Posted wait time was 35 minutes. With Express Pass, we just waited 9 minutes. And that felt, I can't tell you, I'm going to say this a lot, but it felt real good to walk through that express line. You feel like you're winning somehow.
And at the exact same time that they got into line for Forbidden Journey and only waited 9 minutes, I got into line for Velocicoaster, which, in my opinion, is the best coaster at Universal Orlando.
I agree.
So good. But it also is going to have really long wait times all day long. And I chose to do the single rider line. I went into this experiment thinking I didn't want to use single rider line a lot because I wanted to represent, the average family going on this vacation. And the average family, I don't think is going to want to use single rider for everything. There's going to be a lot of rides that you want to ride together. Or if you have kids who are 7 or 8 and they want to do Velocicoaster, but they're scared, they don't want to do single rider next to a stranger. But I did choose to do single rider for Velocicoaster because the posted wait time for standby was 140 minutes. Yeah, that's over 2 hours.
That's even longer
almost two and a
than
half hours.
the Hagrid's wait time.
Yeah. And in single rider line, I waited for 50 minutes, so almost an hour. And when I got on the ride, the people I rode next to said that they had waited 2 hours in standby. Yeah.
That's so long. But Universal has a lot of single rider options.
They do. A lot of I was really surprised at how many single rider lines they have. So if you are down to do single rider, that's a great option to skip some of these long lines.
For sure. So while you were waiting for Velocicoaster, we did Forbidden Journey, and then we decided to hop over to the other park and get some of those rides over there done. So we rode the Hogwarts Express. The posted wait time for the Hogwarts Express was 35 minutes, and we waited 6 minutes. And then we walked over to Gringotts. That was our next plan. We were going to go to Gringotts and ride Escape from Gringotts, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We got all the way back there, and it was closed. So that kind of threw our plan off. So then we decided to ride on Men in Black. We got in line for that at 11:37. Posted wait time was 35 minutes, and Express Pass, we only waited 7 minutes. So at that point, you were still waiting in line, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're still in Velocicoaster line.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went over to Simpsons.
And when you were getting on Simpsons, that's when I was finally getting off of Velocicoaster.
Yeah, so Simpsons posted wait time was 45 minutes. We waited 12 with Express Pass. And that's when you were...
I got off of Velocicoaster. Yeah.
It's so fun, though.
And I went around and got in line for Kong, which I wanted to do because I'd never done before. And it had a 45-minute posted wait time, and I waited 28 minutes. So that was nice. Anytime it says a posted wait time, but the actual wait time is a little less, that was what kept my spirits up. I'm like, okay, I can do this. So I did Kong. And then after Kong, at about 12:30, I got in line for Spider-Man. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, it's just fine. We'll just leave you right there in line for Spider-Man.
You talk for a minute while I
You're
process.
in line for Spider-Man. The post wait time was 55 minutes when you got in line.
Yeah.
And that was at 12:38. At 12:24, then we got in line for E.T. Posted wait time was 45 minutes. Express Pass, we waited 14 minutes. And then we went to lunch over at Minions Cafe, and it was so cute. And I love how Universal does mobile ordering. So you mobile order, and then you go and find your table. And there were so many tables everywhere. It's not like Disneyland where you're like, where am I going to sit? So you find your table, then you tell on the app what table you're at, and they bring you your food.
That's so nice.
I loved it. So anyway, Minions Cafe was great. While we were eating lunch, you were still at Spider-Man. Okay. So after lunch, it was 1:45, and you're still at lunch, Spider-Man?
Still at Spider-Man.
Okay. Then we went on a ride called VillaCon, which was just I would have skipped it if I had known, but we didn't know.
It's not great.
Posted wait time was 25 minutes, but we only waited 5 with Express Pass, so it was totally fine. Are you still in line for...
What time is it at this point? 1:45?
Yeah, 1:45, 1:50-ish.
Yeah, I'm still in line at Spider-Man.
Okay.
I am.
Well, then we decided to go to a show, take a break and go to a show because they have some really fun shows. They've got a Born Identity stunt show that's really cool. I went to a horror makeup show where they talked about how they make people look scary for movies. I really loved it. That was 30 minutes. And with Express Pass, you get to get in early to the shows, and they put you on the front row.
That's so nice.
It is nice. So that was at 2:15. And about then, what were you doing?
Close. I was almost on Spider-Man. Almost. So here's the thing with Spider-Man. When I got in line for the Spider-Man ride, it was showing a posted wait time of 55 minutes. And I had a moment where I was like, oh, but they have single rider. I could go to single rider. And I should have if I would have known, but I didn't know what was about to happen. I was like, nope, I'm just going to do standby 55 minutes. It'll be great. Maybe it'll be less. Maybe it'll be 40. And then it'll be like, got in line standby. And the first 45 minutes of waiting in line, it was great. The line was moving. Everything was great. And then the ride broke down. But at that point, I was like 45 minutes invested. I can't bail. Like maybe it'll go up quick. And then it would start and the line would move a tiny bit and then it would break down again. I think the ride broke down several times. And so by the time I actually got on the ride, I had waited 110 minutes for something that was supposed to be a 55-minute wait. It was horrible luck. And I could have made that decision to bail halfway through, but it would have been an hour of wasted time without a ride. So, yeah, it was just, it was rough. It was rough.
It sounds rough. But you got to ride it?
I did get to ride it, and it's a really cool ride. I actually like that ride better than I like the Transformers ride.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was better too.
I liked it, but I didn't like it 2 hours worth of waiting in line.
No. So after that, you got in line for...
Oh, yeah. So I'm a positive, optimistic person. This is just what I do. So I was like, shake it off. It's fine. I got this. And I went and got in line for the Hulk coaster, big, giant green roller coaster. And it had a posted wait time of 40 minutes. And I was like, I need a win. I'm going to get in single rider line. So I got in the single rider line. I waited about 10 minutes and the ride broke down. And I was like, I'm going to wait 10 more minutes. And if it's still broken down, then I'll bail. And it was still broken down. So that was 20 minutes of time just waiting in a single rider line that got me nothing because I left. And at that point, I was like, I think I just need food and caffeine.
Yeah, because it was 3:00.
Yeah, I hadn't eaten anything because I was like so adamant that I wanted to get as much done as possible. So I was like, I'm just going to eat food. I grabbed some tater tots. They were actually delicious. The green eggs and ham tater tots. I loved them from Seuss Landing. So where does that put you? Because this is about 3:30.
Right then, well, our show lasted till almost 3-ish. And then we went on Despicable Me at 3. The posted wait time was 45 minutes. Express Pass was 19. Then 3:30, we went on Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket roller coaster. It's so scary. It was so fun. You get to choose like what song you listen to as you go. The posted wait time for that was 50 minutes. Express Pass wait was 10. And then at 3:48, we got in line for Jimmy Fallon Race Through New York. Posted wait time was 35 minutes, and we waited 11 minutes. So where are you after lunch?
Okay, so after I ate my green eggs and ham, I was like, it is time to get on the Hogwarts Express. It is time to park hop and see what I can get done at the other park. Went and got in line for Hogwarts Express at 3:45. Posted wait time 35 minutes. At 4:25. So let's see, 15, 20, I don't know, 40-ish minutes into waiting in line. The train broke down. So,
So funny.
like at that point, I had tears in my eyes. I really did. I got emotional. I was like, what in the world is happening? It
You
just
texted us and you were like, it's not going well.
I think my exact words were like, Universal Studios hates me. It hates me. After 2 hours to get on Spider-Man and then Hulk breaking down and then Hogwarts Express breaking down. Boom, boom, boom. In that like 4-hour time period, I didn't ride a single ride. Like I rode Spider-Man finally.
So you'd been on Hagrid's and Spider Velocicoaster
and Kong. I did 3 rides
by like 4:00.
Yeah.
That's
my first
not good.
from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I rode 5 rides. That was it. Because it was just horrible. Things kept breaking down. But so they cleared everybody out of the Hogwarts station. And here's why I love team members / cast members / people who work at theme parks. As I was walking off, they were handing out little tickets for Express Pass. Like you could use the Express Pass on any ride other than like Hagrid's one time for the rest of the day as sort of like we're sorry that this happened. And when the lady went to hand me the Express Pass card, I was like, thank you. Like, and she was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And I kind of just word vomited. I was like, you would not believe the last 4 hours. I can't believe like I'm such a failure at Universal. And anyway, she so kindly escorted me out to the butterbeer cart and bought me a frozen butterbeer. And that was
nice.
so nice. I was like, okay, people are good. I was really, really happy at that point. I'm like, it can't get any worse. It's got to get better from here. And it did.
Well, while you were waiting in line and being evacuated and having a butterbeer, then we went on Transformers. The posted wait time for that was 110 minutes. And I was nervous to get in line for it because I was like, I don't even really like Transformers. And how long are we going to wait even with Express Pass? But we only waited 17 minutes, so everything was fine. Then we did The Mummy. Posted wait time was 25 minutes. We waited 4 minutes. And at that point, we were like, Ashley, come and find us. Let's pep you up a little bit. And you have an Express Pass. Let's use it for Gringotts.
Yeah.
So we can all ride Gringotts together. And Gringotts is a good choice to use on Express Pass because it can get long. And it had been down off and on throughout the whole day. So we met up with Ashley at 5:20. We got in line for Gringotts. Post wait time was 45 minutes. And we only waited 14. And that felt so good, right?
That was exactly what I needed it to be. I had a funny kind of a moment where right as you guys texted me saying, come over and we'll do Hogwarts or we'll do Gringotts together with Express Pass, where I was walking through Seuss Landing because I couldn't take Hogwarts Express. It was broken down. So I was walking all the way to the front of the park so that I could walk over to the other park and then walk to the back of the park to meet these guys. And as I was walking through Seuss Landing, they have this cute little carousel with all these Dr. Seuss characters. And there was no wait. And I got on the carousel. And I filmed myself on the carousel laughing hysterically with tears in my eyes because I was like, I just need to ride a ride, like any ride. So I can count that as a ride. I rode the carousel.
You sure did.
And then I met up with you guys. We did Gringotts. And after Gringotts, things got great for me. The last 4 hours of the night were fantastic.
You got a ton done.
I really, really did. Like luck definitely shifted into my favor, which I
think it was because Madeline brought you that butterbeer.
I think it was.
I think that's what changed.
Madeline from Universal Studios.
That was so nice of her.
Hogwarts Express Madeline. If anyone ever sees her, give her a high five and tell her she's amazing because she is. She bought me a butterbeer.
That was awesome. Okay, so after Gringotts, so we got on the Hogwarts Express, Chantel and I. And because it was back up, posted wait time was 45 minutes, and we waited 30 in the Express line, which was long.
Yeah, that does feel long for Express.
Yeah, so that was at 6. So what were you doing while we were waiting in line for the Hogwarts Express?
After Gringotts, I went and got on Men in Black. It was only a 15-minute posted wait, but I did single rider, and I got right on. No wait, 2 minutes, like walk and on. And then I went to Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, that big roller coaster. And it was a posted wait time of 35 minutes, but I did single rider and got on in 8 minutes. So basically I did 2 rides and only waited 10 total minutes, which was fantastic. But I did single rider.
Right.
And so I did that coaster. Oh, and then I went and did Villain Con because I was right there anyway. People had already said, like, Melissa had already done it. And she was like, but if there's no, but there was no wait.
Yeah, might as well.
And I didn't know what it was.
It's so weird.
I feel like it's a good idea, but it just did not translate well.
Mm-hmm.
You just hold like a little shooter gun and
you stand on a walkway like at the airport, but it moves. And then you shoot
anyway targets. And I couldn't figure out like where my target was shooting the whole time.
I don't know.
It was weird. But yeah.
Then you did.
And then I did the race through New York with Jimmy Fallon. It was a posted wait time of 25 minutes, but it only took me 9 minutes.
That's so nice.
It was great. And then I
Well,
hopped on the Mummy real fast.
yeah.
I was like, boom, boom, boom. I was knocking out rides over there pretty quick.
And Mummy, you did single rider.
Mummy, I did single rider and it took me 2 minutes instead of a posted 25.
That's awesome. Well, after we got off the Hogwarts Express, we went and did a Velocicoaster with our Express Pass. Posted wait time was 75 minutes, but we waited 45. It was our longest Express Pass line by far, by far. And after walking on most of the rides with Express Pass, and it felt long. I was like, do they not know we're Express Pass? Why are we waiting? Shouldn't we be moving faster? But the part of the problem was it had broken down a little bit, so they weren't running all of the coasters while I was in the line. They were down to 1 at one point, and then they went back up to 2, and then I think usually they try to have 3 going at once. So I think that slowed it down, but we
That
just
is
waited.
45 minutes with Express Pass
Right?
feels really long.
I thought so.
That is a long
But I
wait.
thought maybe I'm just being a spoiled brat.
Well, no, when you pay them extra money for Express
Mhm.
Pass, like that's what it's for, is to not have to wait 45 minutes.
Right. So I waited till about 8. So what were you doing while I was waiting?
After the Mummy, I went on ET. It had a posted wait time of 25, but only took me 10. That was awesome. And then I kept trying to get on Hogwarts Express because the train back and forth is so cool.
And it's different each way.
It is. And so I walked over there after ET and it was broken down again. The train was broken down again. And so at that point, I was like, well, there's a Fast and the Furious ride right here that only shows a 10-minute wait. And I don't know what it is. So I'll go do it. It was similar to, did you guys do Fast and Furious ride?
Mm-mm.
It's similar to if you've done Universal Studios Hollywood and the studio tour. And there's that section where it's Fast and the Furious. It's just like that. Waited 10 minutes to do that. And as soon as I got off there, I checked Hogwarts Express again to see if it had reopened, and it still was closed. And they were saying, like, at this point, it's 8:00. The park closes at 9. And do you really want to spend your last hour of the, waiting and hoping that it opens, and maybe it never does? So at that point, I just booked it back to the other part, Island of Adventure, and got on hold. And that was
So
how I
nice.
ended my night. It was a 20-minute posted wait, and it took 20 minutes.
That's not bad. Not
So-
bad at all. I feel like even though the park closed at 9 for us, it really cleared out a lot, probably around 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, guys, still had 2 more hours. Where did everyone go?
Yeah.
But it did get less. So after Velocicoaster, we got in line for Spider-Man. Posted wait time was 20 minutes. And I felt a little guilty for after how long Ashley waited because we waited 4 minutes with the Express.
It was like, that Spider-Man ride is great. I loved it.
And then we went on Hulk, which I was super excited about. Posted wait time 20 minutes. Express Pass was 4. And after that, we decided to go over to Seuss Land because we hadn't really been there during the day. And we rode on this trolley train ride that takes you kind of up above Seuss Land, just in a little train. And 15 minutes was the posted wait time, and we waited 12 minutes.
I think that's the cutest little ride.
It was cute.
I love that ride.
I was a little nervous because it was really high and there wasn't like an edge. You were strapped in good, but I got a
I
little
think it's
scared.
so cute.
So for me and Chantel, with our Express Pass, we did 18 rides plus a 30-minute show in the 12 hours that we were there.
And I did not have Express Pass, and I did 14 rides. But 4 of them were single rider lines, and one of them I used that Express Pass card that I had been given. So
total, I waited 282 minutes in line in the 12 hours, which was 4 hours and 7 minutes out of my day.
I waited in line for 394 total minutes, and that was 6.5 hours. So I ended up waiting in line a little over 2 hours more than you guys did with Express Pass.
Which I was surprised by when we added that up because it felt different. Like my day felt different. It didn't see, I felt like I would have waited way less than you. And 2 hours doesn't seem like that drastic of a difference. But at the same time, we were like really optimistic and had a great day because we were just walking on rides and you had kind of the opposite experience.
Yeah. Well, the first from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. was rough for me. Not at first. The first couple hours of the day when we did Hagrid's together, and then even when I waited the 50 minutes in single rider for Velocicoaster, I still was like, okay, we knocked out two of the biggest rides first thing. I'm doing good. It wasn't until Spider-Man when the world fell apart and then it was really, really rough for a few hours.
But it's not like you did anything wrong. It's not like your
No.
strategy was off or
No.
anything like that. Like, stuff happens.
Rides break down and lines are long.
But if you had had your family with you, oh, I mean, can you imagine like riding basically nothing until 5 p.m.? Like that would have been real, real bad.
Really hard. And just the attitude of I was in it like, I gotta go, go, go. I want to get stuff done. And these guys were so much more relaxed.
Mhm.
Like we go ride whatever we want. And no, we're not gonna be faced with big long lines, with the exception of maybe Velocicoaster, which is weird.
Yeah.
But it was that long.
So I don't know. What do you think though? Is Express Pass? I mean, it can be super expensive.
It can. I feel like if I were taking my family, if we were going during the off season, I would probably just buy a 2-day park hopper ticket without Express Pass.
And we've done that with our family in the past. We went in January and the lines weren't crazy bad. It wasn't hot. We did 2 days and we didn't feel rushed. We waited in line. Sometimes they were long, but we had 2 days and it was fine. And we had a great time.
I think that's what I would do. And then if I were going during, right now my kids are at the age where I can't pull them out of school for a week in February or, it has to be spring break. It has to be Christmas break. It has to be summer. And if we were going to do that, I think I would bite the bullet and do 1 day, 2 parts, and buy Express Pass and do it like you guys did it.
Well, I think there's a place that you can really save money with Express Pass if you do it right. You'd have to just get in there with the dates and your notebook and like really price things out. But if you were going for 1 day and you were going in the off season, I think you could save money adding Express Pass and doing 1 day instead of 2 days. Because for my family of 6, if we went for 2 days, then I have to pay for parking at Universal an extra day. I have to pay for extra meals for a whole extra day, which is around $150 a meal for my family, plus an extra night in a hotel. So if I took that money and put it into Express Pass, we might even save some money, but not always. It just depends on the time of year that you're visiting and how much they're charging.
I cannot believe the swing in pricing with Express Pass. Like on a cheap day, it's $120 to add it. On an expensive day, it's almost $300 to add it. That's a huge jump.
A huge jump. But it works really, really well.
It's nice.
And I know that a lot of people complain about Disney Genie Plus. They're paying, they don't want to pay $30 extra a day. What a waste of money. Guys, go to Universal. And see what they're charging for their Express Pass. Same with Knott's Berry Farm. They have a front of the line pass that is
It's expensive.
so expensive, around $100. But I mean, there is something to be said for paying extra money, but not having to make reservations, having extra short front of the line, basically, unless you're on Velocicoaster. Waits. I don't know. I don't know if I want to say this out loud.
I feel like you have to now.
Okay. I don't think it would be a bad thing if Disney opted for this option. Like Genie
You
Plus.
went like Express Pass, where
Yeah.
you don't have to book Lightning Lane return times. You don't have to book anything. You just show up, but the price goes way, way up.
Way up. You're going to pay $120. You're going to works for every single ride. You get to go on the express line, but you don't have to make reservations. And I think that it would be beneficial for the standby line too, because not as many people are going to do it. So the standby line is going to get shorter. And then people who opt to pay that money, they're going to get on a lot quicker. I think it's a win for everybody, especially Disney, who gets to pay that, like charge the money.
I feel like it could happen. Potentially it could happen.
The only problem is, at least at Disneyland, they do not have the space to create a second line in a lot of those rides. Like in Fantasyland, where are they going to put those
Yeah.
express line people? And maybe they couldn't do it for those rides. It would just be more not like Universal where they're like, every single ride has express pass. Maybe they couldn't do that. But I don't know. I mean,
As far as the price continuing to go up and up and up,
oh,
it
it's gonna
will.
go up. Yeah.
But it would be nice to not. I think one of the biggest complaints that I hear from people trying to use Genie Plus is they're on their phone all day long, nonstop, trying to book this and modify this and cancel this and checking the times, checking the return times. And you're just so glued to your phone,
It's
where
much
Universal
better.
was not like that at all.
So what if they charged like $60 per person, same amount of Genie Plus rides as we have now? There's like 20, I think, between both parks. And you could go one time on all those rides per attraction, get in the express line, but you didn't have to make a reservation. You just got to use it whenever. Would you think that would be worth the extra money?
For most people, I do.
I think it would be really nice to not have to schedule it and you're just show up for those attractions whenever you feel like.
I have to remind myself in my head that not everyone is like me, where I get a kick out of booking lightning lanes. Like it's like it's a thrill for me to get on the app and be like, okay, click, click, click. Oh yeah. And then, oh, now it's like, and to kind of try to like hack the system and do, Genie Plus like a pro. I love that. But for the average person, that's a pain to have to deal with all that.
Right. And especially if you're there with your family, if you have little kids and you're trying to enjoy being in the parks with them, and then you're like, oh my gosh, we have a lightning lane in 10 minutes. Everyone finish eating, I can see the value in not having to make those reservations.
And I definitely would like the idea of less people using the system.
Because we don't use it. Like most times when I go to Disneyland, I don't buy Genie Plus. I just wait in standby lines. But then sometimes I do buy it. It just kind of depends.
We're going next week for spring break with my family, and we're only doing 2 Disneyland days, but we're doing Genie Plus both days.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, with only 2 days,
especially during spring break.
Yeah.
So. Oh, I did want to mention though, with Express Pass at Universal Orlando, if you are staying in a deluxe resort, then you get Express Pass automatically added to your ticket and anyone in your group that's staying at that property. So that is incredibly valuable, I think. And I think that if next time I go with my family, we might look into staying at a deluxe property. They are more expensive, but you get in early so you could ride Hagrid's real fast, maybe more than once. And then you get Express Pass for the whole day, for your whole trip. So if you're going for 3 days, you get Express Pass automatically. And I don't know, that
I would love to do the math. I would love to see how much does it actually cost to stay at one of those deluxe resorts for 3 days versus how much would I spend if I wanted to add on Express Pass.
Right? Because it might be very comparable to you adding Express Pass for the trip to stay at a deluxe resort and then get in early entry. So we need to do more math.
Well, we should do this again next year. Let's do it again. Stay on property and do early entry.
But who's going to be the one that has to wait in the lines? I don't want to.
Oh.
But you already did. We can't ask you to do it again.
I could. It would,
no, not if you had.
If
we were staying at a deluxe resort. I don't want you to do that and miss out on the perk.
Okay. Well, no, then let's just not be scientific. Let's just go have fun. Let's just go on a vacation.
Okay.
It would not be for work. It would just be for fun.
We're still going to track everything.
Well, yeah, but it could be of the angle, like, let's see how much we can get done with Express Pass and early entry. All of us together.
We could probably do every single ride.
Oh, yeah, easy.
I think we could.
As long as things don't break down and break down and break down.
Gosh, I'm excited.
Okay, let's plan it.
But I love Universal Orlando. I think it's so fun. So fun, especially if you have kids 7 and up. It's awesome. Very different than Universal Hollywood, which is fun. But Universal Orlando is like amazing. And every time I go, I like it more and more. So,
yeah, even if you've been to the Universal Studios Hollywood,
you haven't really been
to go to Universal Orlando.
Yeah. So exciting. Okay, thanks for chatting, Ash.
Thanks for having me.
Plan our next trip.
It was a great time.
Bye. thank you so much to Ashley for joining me. You can find Ashley on Instagram and Facebook. I'll put a link to her socials in the show notes. Definitely check out her stuff. I did want to mention that my travel partners at Getaway Today have discounted rates on tickets and hotels near Universal. So please don't pay full price for your Universal vacation. They even have layaway plans, which are pretty awesome. I'll put a link to all that info in the show notes. I hope you have a great week. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to leave a review. And I will be back next week with something new. Thanks so much for listening. We'll talk soon.